Welcome to Ogle's channel and this week's episode of Video Game News of the Week. Now we got a lot of topics to cover today. We got Metroid's 35th anniversary, we got the Steam Deck making some new headway, we got a video game auction of Super Mario Brothers selling for a record-breaking amount, and we also got some Pokemon-like games that we need to discuss, especially for some of the delays on those games as well. But let's go ahead and get started. Now we're going to start the news off of a game we've been talking about on the channel a lot over the last several months, and that game is going to be Monster Harvest. Now Monster Harvest is a Pokemon and Stardew Valley combo game. Of course, you get to explore what are called plantables here, which are basically Pokemon plants, but you grow your plantables. You can, of course, harvest your plantables. You can battle your plantables like in Pokemon, and you get to, of course, explore this entire world of the plantables. Now Monster Harvest looks like a ton of fun, and I'm genuinely really excited for this game. But the game has been delayed yet one more time. And now, the delays on this game have actually had a little bit of a history here. The game was originally supposed to be released in May of 2021, and then that got delayed until July of 2021, and then that got delayed until early August of 2021, and now our new delay is going to be for the end of August, on August 31st of 2021. So the game is almost here. It's just a matter of a few weeks away at this point. And I'm not as big of a stickler on game delays as some people because I know they're actually taking the time to work through some of the final bugs and things like that to give us the best possible product when the game is actually released. And that's exactly what Maple Power Games and Merge Games, the developer and producer of this game, are doing here. They actually released a press statement to go along with it, and they've released a press statement with every single delay to let us know why these delays are happening. And I appreciate the honesty and upfront of both companies when it comes to that. But let's take a look at what exactly they said for this particular delay. They said, "We know you'll be disappointed and we do not take these decisions lightly. There was one final development hurdle to jump over that didn't quite work out, and pushing back a little was necessary to deliver exactly what we want players to experience. There's a wonderful community that has sprouted up around Monster Harvest," that has to be pun intended there, "and we absolutely want to do right by the community, even when it means making what could be a disappointing decision. The Steam demo is still there and available to play. Your progress in the demo will carry over to the full game, though you may want to consider starting fresh and taking advantage of any improvements and fixes added at this point. Thank you so much for the continued support and your patience as we make sure Plantable Point is ready for your arrival." So yeah, I know it's a little bit disappointing, but it is just a couple weeks away, and we will have our hands on Monster Harvest finally at the end of August. And of course, if you do want to go and get a head start on the game, you can of course download the Steam demo, and like it said here, your data will transfer over to the full game. For all of us waiting for it on the console edition, of course, that's not really an option at this point. But Monster Harvest will be here before the end of the month. And speaking of Pokemon-like games, just simply 2 months after Monster Harvest, we have Monster Crown coming out. And Monster Crown is focused less on being a combo of Stardew Valley and Pokemon, and just simply being more of a traditional Pokemon-style game here. And you can see it's definitely harkening back to the Game Boy Advance era of Pokemon, and in some cases even back to the original Red and Blue era of Pokemon as well. But the game is definitely focused more on the storyline because there are different choices throughout the game that give you different endings inside the game, and also they're going to focus on the breeding system in the game. And I know you can breed your Pokemon all the way back to like Gold and Silver, but I was always disappointed by the breeding system inside the Pokemon games because you could never actually create a unique Pokemon out of that. It was all predetermined. Where in this game, they are championing the idea of creating your own monsters inside the game by mixing different monsters and monster types. So I'm really interested to see what they actually pull out from that. There are also a few different mini games that you can play inside the game, and a few other features that are trying to separate themselves from the traditional Pokemon series and sort of pave their own direction here. But that means we have 2 Pokemon-like games coming out before the end of the year, and also we have the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl coming out. So we got a pretty good second half of 2021 when it comes to the Pokemon realm. And we also had the 35th anniversary celebration this past week for Metroid. And I know sometimes we forget it was Metroid's 35th anniversary because we're so wrapped up in the Zelda 35th, and last year was the Mario 35th. And it seems like Nintendo just slowly cares less and less and less about all the franchise after Mario, because Metroid literally got almost nothing for its 35th anniversary. We do have Metroid Dread coming out, which is a new Metroid game, but that's just simply because it was time for a new Metroid game. It's nothing related to the 35th anniversary really at all, I don't think, on this. But regardless, Metroid did come out 35 years ago on August 6th of 1986 in Japan. Of course, if you're in the United States of America, or in North America rather, that was a year after that. And I believe even a few months after that, Europe saw Metroid being released as well. But regardless, this is Metroid's 35th anniversary, so happy birthday or anniversary to Metroid. And let's move on and talk about a disgusting amount of money people are spending on retro games that are sealed at this point. Now, I know I've talked about it on the channel here lately. We talked about the Zelda copy selling for like $800,000. We talked about the Super Mario Brothers copy selling for like $1.5 million. Well, hold your hats, because today, or this past week, we saw Super Mario Brothers 1 now, sealed, sell for $2 million. Now, this is pretty ridiculous that anybody would pay that amount for it, but it's unique how this one was actually sold. This one was sold through an app or a company called Rally, and Rally is very similar to the company we talked about a couple weeks ago called Otis. And if you want to know more about how Otis works, you can click the link above here. But Rally works the same way as Otis. It just simply allows people to buy these items as a group instead of simply one person owning this item. And so Super Mario Brothers, when it sold off, it sold to one person at $2 million, but it was essentially 30,000 people collectively who own Super Mario Brothers that sold it off to this one person for $2 million. So all these people who owned it collectively, instead of making a ton of money, they really made roughly like $600 a piece, which is nice, but no one's making a ton of money off of this sale. But somebody did buy Super Mario Brothers for $2 million. And to wrap up the gaming news for the week, we did have the first reviews or first impressions of the Steam Deck come out this past week from some big companies such as Verge and PC Gamer, and they got their hands on the system to actually experiment with it and sort of see what they thought about it. Now, they did note that it is definitely heavier than the Switch when it comes to the weight of the system. However, they said once you start playing, you don't really notice the weight difference between that and the Switch. They actually said the controls on the system were actually a lot more comfortable than the Switch when it comes to just simply handheld mode. They did note when playing the Steam Deck that it did have some bugs and some glitches that tended to pop up a little bit. However, that is somewhat to be expected on a system that's still not to be released for like 6 more months. And so those bugs, I'm sure, will be straightened out by the time the Steam Deck is ready for actual release. But I am really excited about the Steam Deck, finally being able to take these PC games on the go, and also just simply having a high-powered PC for a very reasonable price. I'm getting the $400 model. I've already got that pre-ordered, and so, of course, we'll review it on the channel when it finally does get released at the end of the year or toward the beginning of next year, depending on when my shipment personally goes out. But that wraps up this week in gaming news. Comment down below. Are you going to get one of the Pokemon-like games? Are you the lucky winner of the $2 million Super Mario Brothers? Are you planning on getting Metroid Dread when it comes out? And also, are you planning on getting a Steam Deck when it comes out as well? Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on that variety of topics. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure and like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, go out there, find a great game to play. Just simply have a great rest of the day.